I'll take the plunge. Paul, how are you?
Hi, William.
I'm good. Lots of changes at the sports ground this year. Some new players in, players leave. Happens every season. But for the forwards, not Morgan. Devault Senecal has come in as forwards coach. What's he brought? What's different?
He's a coach with a lot of experience, and he's kind of fresh eyes looking on the place. He's laying down the law quite a lot, and he's coming up with some really, really good ideas around what he wants to implement. And we've been training away with them the last few weeks, and we've another week of training and then trying to implement them against Cardiff.
Yeah, and Andy Fred has talked a little bit as well about trying to really push tempo as something that Connacht are going to play with this season. Have you been fitness training a bit towards that and just looking to speed up the whole process of the game?
Yeah, we're looking to play fast, and I suppose the biggest change we made with our pre-season this year was there was actually very little get on the line and run fitness. It was all with the ball. We got a lot of hard training done, but it all had the ball involved between conditioning games and a lot of 15-on-15 stuff. So we're well used to throwing the ball around at this stage, and I think our fitness has gone up another level.
The final one from me. It's a tough enough start, and it's an interesting start. Cardiff away, and then two of the first 5 games being interpros.
Yeah, but again, I always say you want to play against the best, and we're going to have to play against these teams at some stage. So it might as well be at the start. But yeah, we have full focus on Cardiff for now, and really looking forward to getting stuck in. And that'll be my first game back. I missed the 2 pre-season games, so I'm really excited to get involved.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you, and have a great season. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, William.
Hi, Paul. Neil here in Virgin Media News in Dublin. Paul, obviously we know about everything that's the controversy over last weekend. What is your reaction to what happened to the Connacht women and their changing conditions in Donnybrook?
Yeah, it wasn't an ideal scenario, and we spoke about it ourselves in the change room that we wouldn't put up for it, and it's not good enough. I suppose from a bigger level, the apology has been made. Hopefully it won't happen again. Hopefully there's dressing rooms available and the COVID stuff goes away. But if a scenario like that was to happen again, hopefully the powers that be make the right decision and don't have the guys there.
Do you think that male rugby players need to support their female counterparts more?
Whenever there's a Connacht women's game on, we go and support them. But yeah, 100%. I think the game is growing. There's huge support behind it. I was watching the women's game against Spain there on Monday, and it was a really enjoyable game. The women's game is only getting bigger, so I think the more support it gets, the better.
Paul, from your own point of view, you're coming back into camp this season as an Irish international now after making your debut during the summer. How did that feel? Can you talk us through what the last couple of months have been like?
Well, the 3-week camp was really enjoyable. It was unbelievably intense. I learned a lot, and since then I've just been trying to implement the things that I learned, whether it was work-ons or good things that I need to improve on as well. I've just been enjoying implementing those. I got some really good feedback from coaches, learned a lot of other players that I was in camp with, and hopefully now come game time I can implement some of the things I've been working on.
Were you surprised when the call came from Andy Farrell earlier in the summer?
It was something that I've been working towards, but I suppose when the call comes, it is always a surprise. It's a lovely surprise, but it's something I've been working towards for the last number of years, so I was delighted as well.
And just finally for me then, what did you learn about yourself in that camp? Were there times in the early stages in the first few sessions when you saw what the standard was like and maybe that you needed kind of a couple of steps more to get up to that level, or were you feeling comfortable in there?
A bit of both, I suppose. On field, I was expecting the step up, and the step up was there, but when it's expected, it's not as bad. It was more the off-field stuff that was kind of surprisingly a big step up, whether that was the video work you do, the analysis, the learning the new calls. That was probably the toughest part to learn, but after a couple of days I was well used to it, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back in again.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Cheers.
Hi Paul, Katie here from Wales Online. Hope you're well. I just wanted to ask, which Welsh or players in Wales are you least looking forward to coming up against, and which region do you think is going to test Connacht the most and the hardest?
Well, the one we're focusing on now at the moment is Cardiff. But if I to give you one player, I actually met him there yesterday. He's playing for Ospreys this year, Jack Regan. He's one of my good mates that I grew up with. So I'm going to give his name a shout out there.
Great, thank you, and good luck for season.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul. If I can ask you about Jack Regan, he's had a long way around to actually get back into with Wales now and playing in the new competition in the United Rugby Championship, having gone to New Zealand after leaving Ulster. Huge boost for him to come back and now be playing alongside Alan Wynne-Jones in the coming seasons too.
Yeah, and from talking to him, he's really excited. I actually hadn't seen him in about 2.5 years, so I was delighted to see him during the week. And he's on a bit of a buzz at the moment. He's loving life over in Wales, and he's going to be a great addition to Ospreys. He's a really good player. I played him for 3 or 4 years there from when I was about 16 growing up, and he's a good friend and a good player, so he's going to be a great addition to Ospreys.
You mentioned wanting to stay in the Irish squad when the November internationals are coming around. You want to put in good form over the next 4 to 6 weeks to try and get selection again now. I would think that's a big motivator going into the start of the season for you, aside from wanting your province to do well.
Yeah, it has to be. Everyone in the Irish setup gets picked off good performances, and those first few games are a really good way of showing why you should be in there. And every player in Ireland, and including me, will be looking to put in as best performance as possible to get in.
Cheers, Paul.
Cheers.
Hi, Paul. How you do?
How are you?
Not so bad. I suppose you're one of many in the Connacht squad who would have played for Lansdowne in the All-Ireland League. Just wondering how important was that for your development? Obviously, getting that exposure at quite a young age, and obviously you would have had the likes of Mike Ruddock, obviously very experienced coach that you're playing under as well.
Yeah, really important, because like the path I came up in rugby wasn't part of a school, so I was playing McGorry the whole way up. So when I went to Lansdowne, it was my first proper step up in standards, and they really show you the ropes. And my brother's playing there now as well and loving it. But I loved playing with Lansdowne. I love playing in the AAL, and I suppose it's the old saying, but it really does make a man of you. And I learned so much between playing a year 20s there and then a year AAL as well. And when you have guys like Mike Ruddock coaching you, you're learning off the best, and I thrived in Lansdowne.
And I suppose in terms of your brother, obviously, I suppose the domestic games kind of been really badly affected. I suppose probably see it up and run now in the next few weeks, and I suppose there could be a few hidden gems, I'm sure, as well, emerged there. And I suppose Connacht will have their eye on as well.
Yeah, there will be. There always is. You can always see guys coming from an AAL, whether it's with us, we have Matt Healy or Pete Sullivan. There's always guys you can pick up. Greg McGrath this year as well. There's guys you can pick up, and there's hidden gems in the AAL because it is a high standard, and there are a lot of good players there that might have slipped through the cracks. And I suppose for coaches in academy managers or wherever it is that's picking up players, the AAL is a really good one to keep an eye on players.
That's great, Paul. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Hey, Paul. How's it going?
How are you?
Good, thanks. Listen, I was just wondering from your time, you were saying, how much you enjoyed it in the summer as well. Did you get to talk to like Andy Farrell much? Was he good for kind of having a chat with you and maybe even setting goals for the season ahead if you wanted to get back involved with the Irish squad? Yeah, in fairness, all the coaches were really good at giving that. If you wanted some feedback, you just went and talked to them, and they were really open and honest. So I would have had a few chats with him, I would have had a few chats with Paulie, and they would have given me work-ons not only for that camp, but for coming into the new season and for pushing on. And since I've got back into pre-season with Connacht, I've been trying to work on those things and keep pushing on and keep pushing the boat to try and get back in. And I know there was kind of a reduced capacity at that game, but like there was, I think, a good few thousand were at it. But did family, friends get a chance to go along and kind of catch that game? Like, did they get to kind of go see you in action for Ireland? Yeah, they did, and that was brilliant. Like we were given 4 tickets, and I think I had about 20 there between friends and family. So it was brilliant. I don't know how they managed to get tickets, but they did somehow. And no, it was a great atmosphere there, and I was able to meet them afterwards. But it made the whole day. Obviously, the playing of the game, the winning of the game was huge, but having your family and friends there was so big as well. Perfect. Listen, good luck with the whole season. Cheers. Thank you.
We all good, guys?
Actually, I might just, if that's all right, I can ask one more if that's all right. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll also ask one piece afterwards. Perfect. Yeah, I'll just ask you a quick one there, Paul. I asked Chris when he was up earlier for Munster. It's just
it's just lads maybe that we might not be as aware of, but you guys have been training with during the summer, guys to kind of that you're looking forward to seeing this season, even if it's kind of young lads that are coming through?
Yeah, there are a couple of good young lads coming through. The two probably stand out for me would be Keane Prendergast in the back row, who's going really well. Came from a similar path that I did over to Connacht and has thrived since he got there. And then the other one would be Diarmuid Kilgallen. He's another one to watch out for. He's a really good athlete on the wing, and they both work really hard and they're both going really well. And I think they're going to get their opportunities in the first few weeks. So keep an eye out for them.
Perfect. I'll mention them in conversations and take all the credit.
Yeah.
All right. All the best.
Hi, it's Morgan from down in Johannesburg. I've asked this to some of your peers already. What are you guys expecting from the new South African sides will bring to the competition? And also then, are you expecting, you introducing your Connacht now to a much larger supporter base? What style of rugby are you guys going to be employing during the season?
Well, from the South African point of view, look, we're all really excited to have 4 brilliant teams in, full of South African internationals. South Africa are World Cup winners. They beat the Lions. They're a serious rugby nation. So to be playing against those guys, it's a really good test. But we want to test ourselves against the best. So it's brilliant for them to be added to the competition. And then from our point of view, this year our big focus is tempo and playing fast. So we're going to try and match up against the South African teams as best we can. And that they're obviously going to be physical, with, again, playing with tempo and playing fast as well. So we're going to have to try and out-fast each other. But should be an interesting matchup, and we're really excited to play the South African teams.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, any more questions for Paul? Like that. As a note, Paul, thanks very much for your time.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.